All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Waystar Daily. Just a pretty run-of-the-mill episode last night. We watched the Succession, nothing too special. What is it called? Connor's wedding. We all knew this was coming, just the siblings, you kind of get into their shenanigans once again, right? No, this, I'm still rocked by what it is I watched last night. I've attempted to watch the episode 3 times. I've successfully gone through twice. On my second rewatch last night, I just couldn't do it. But the death of Logan Roy, it's happened. Brennan, what do we do now, man?
So first, let's just state the obvious. I thought Logan was going to die this season. This is way sooner and in a way different manner than I thought. And after the fact, it's perfect. And this is the best episode they've ever done. This is one of the best episodes I've ever seen
Agreed.
Of anything on television. I just sat there being like, how have they done this so well? Hats off to the actors, to the directors, to the writers, to everyone who made this decision to kill him off in this way, in this format, with the kids not even being close, happening on a plane. They couldn't get to his side. He died as he lived, absent from their lives, absent,
100%.
but casting a shadow that they couldn't escape over their lives. It was just an unbelievable episode of television. Just like, I've never lost somebody unexpectedly, but the grief, being stunned, the confusion, not knowing what to do, it all rang true. And everything I read on the interweb said that it's how you feel when you get this call from somebody who died who you weren't expecting to die suddenly. Yeah, and it's just all those things. Yeah, and of course Kendall, best airplane medicine expert in the world.
We'll do our scene by scene breakdown and everything that we did in the first episode. We'll give our LVP, MVP, what along the episode is. This is just still our initial thoughts phase before we really get into the nitty gritty of the episode. But I just want to piggyback off of something you said, which was the kudos to them for having the balls to make this decision this early into the season. Kudos to everyone. There's someone that every time we talk about Succession, there's one name that I constantly forget to mention, which is Nicholas Britell, the composer of the score and does the scoring of all the episodes. I thought his best work was actually the episode before this one, but this episode, holy shit. This dude has been just transcendent in what he's been able to do musically for this show. I mean, everybody already knows the score, the theme song is top notch. Come on.
Unbelievable.
It's one of the few shows that every week you're not hitting the skip intro thing. Even if you're not paying attention to what's happening on the screen, you listen at least to the music that's happening. It sets the tone and the mood for what is about to go down, right? So just kudos to Nicholas Britell. But beyond that, I think that really what you talked about is this did feel like it was setting up, as we even said last week, we were so looking forward to this episode because of the fun that this episode was going to be, right?
Yeah, the humor of the Connor's wedding, that's what I thought it was going to be.
We're ready for that, right? And the thing is, the episode starts out at 100 miles an hour, the way that we always expect a Succession show to start up. There's nothing that really, and the thing is, anything that seems to have caused any friction, it's going to be like the stuff that we don't necessarily want to deal with all the fun, seem to get taken care of immediately. You have the Jerry Roman stuff. You're going to have that call. You're going to have that uncomfortable conversation. Somebody needs to maybe talk to Connor about the uncomfortableness of Logan's probably not going to be there. So it was like we've cleared the stage for
but even that would be a funny
conversation
to hear Connor be informed that his dad has chosen to go and get on a plane to Sweden instead of come to his wedding.
But we knew that this, because every episode, as far as the wedding goes, we know this big shit goes down. But it's usually it's pretty fun, and they save the gravitas for the end, right?
Yes.
Whether it be Kendall's accident, or whether it be the showdown in Italy, or Kendall's confession. It's all near the end of the episode. So when they do that, and it's sort of, all right, we're here, everything's normal, Logan's spitting 100 miles an hour, and then the gut punch that comes, as someone who's unfortunately had to deal with sudden death occurring quite a bit around me, that's what made this episode so hard to deal with. was the idea of how well they nailed the feeling you get on what's supposed to be just a normal day, and then nothing's normal anymore, and the surrealness of it, and the way that they shot it, and even listening to Jesse and Mark, the showrunner and the director, talk about the episode. They actually did quite a few really, really interesting things camera-wise in this episode. So they are one of the only shows that still shoot on film. And with that, you can shoot 10 minutes before you've got to change your film up. They did the entire middle piece of the episode they did separate takes, but then him and Kieran Culkin were actually talking about it and said, can we go through one complete shot without breaking? And they did. They hid film canisters all over the boat. And there's like extras are holding film canisters and everything, so they can just keep shooting to keep in that moment. And I think they nailed that part of it, and just that feeling, that anxiety that you feel there. It was a lot. It was a fuck ton. All right, but let's get into it. We'll go scene by scene for the most part, and just kind of talk on what everybody's doing and how it is we feel about it. So, show opens up. This episode we have Roman and Logan are speaking as Roman's making his way to the wedding. We know that Logan's not showing up. Him and Carrie got Connor some Napoleon and Josephine letters. So I think it's good to go. But they also let Roman know that they're going to be letting Jerry go, and it is Roman's responsibility to let the news go. Yeah. Off to the races. Here we go. We know we got the episode kind of set. We know what's happening. Yeah. Is Roman going to go with Logan? What's the deal there? Is he just his errand boy? They get there. Roman gets there to the boat, and you think maybe the Jerry conversation is going to be something that may happen later on in the episode. No, Tom calls to hurry up. Roman.
Yeah, as soon as he says hi to Shiv, he's just like, okay. He doesn't even want to have the conversation, but Jerry immediately senses something's wrong. And is like, okay.
And they have the convo. And you can see the convo. I mean, it's the worst thing that Logan can ask Roman to do, because we know that Roman, as far as what it is with confrontation, we also know Roman's relationship with Jerry. This is what feels like a loyalty test to Roman that Logan is giving off to him. And can he decapitate Jerry? And you can see with all the trepidation in the world, he does not want to have it happen. And Jerry showing the most emotion we've probably ever seen from her in the entire series, with lip quivering. Yeah. This doesn't even matter. That whole bit. It was great. Yeah. It was great. I thought, as far as from an acted scene, it was, I mean, everything's going to get overshadowed by what it is that was happening in the rest of the episode.
Oh, it was a great job of happening. It was Roman's little awkward shit, like, can't get it out. Doing his best Cousin Greg impression from last week of telling, what's her name? Logan's assistant girlfriend. She can't be on Carrie yet. Just awkwardly trying to be like, you're getting fired. Yeah, you're out.
And Jerry doesn't even let him kind of finish it. She wants him to have the balls to say it, but he's like, he can't do it, and he kind of meanders around it. But word gets out. Jerry knows that she's on her way out of there. So the Kendall comes up from behind, scares Roman just a little bit, kidney chop. And the siblings are together on the boat as they go and talk to Willa and explain to her what's a loony cake.
Oh, my God. The loony cake. The damage Logan has done to his children is unfathomable. The fucking loony cake, where Connor can't even stand the sight of his cake being cut into, because he associates it so strongly with his mom being shipped off to a mental institution.
Institutionalized, right? Which I spoke about it a little bit last episode, how it's been important to me that we've been kind of peeling back the layers of Connor, because I always feel as though we haven't gotten enough about Connor and what makes him tick. And it feels like this season we've gotten more of what is going on with Connor.
Yeah, all the kids are neglected to an extent, but Connor was the one who was neglected almost completely. Right? He was just ignored. Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's more that I think that they allude to when it comes to Shiv especially when we pick up where the show starts, is that something's happening between her and Logan where she's drifted off to go in the complete opposite direction politically. We don't really get too much about what was going on with their relationship at that particular point, but you could tell enough has happened to lead her up to this point where Logan's taken Tom's side to a certain extent, and that's the end-all, be-all. It's enough for her. But it's the Shiv component of it. I always thought was something that I wished that because Shiv's backstory is not completely fleshed out. Because there's even
no, we
at
don't
certain
know how
points she even alludes to.
We don't know how.
We don't know how she got there, but even
the favored daughter to becoming a liberal political operative. How that happened, we don't
even the Tom stuff, because the like she alludes, she talks about to Tom how she was a mess until Tom kind of saved her, and I don't know what that's about. I still have no idea what the fuck was Shiv getting into at that particular point in her life that Tom Wamsgans is the guy that saved her. It's fucking crazy. But there's a lot of that backstory that we haven't necessarily fleshed out. But the Connor stuff, I'm thoroughly enjoying Connor. As the series has gone on. So at that particular point, everything goes nuts. As Shiv is going to go talk to Connor because she's been elected as the only one, or the one that Connor likes the most. Let him know that Logan's not going to be showing up to the wedding. The dreaded phone call comes in from Tom.
After he tries to call Shiv twice, right? And Shiv just sends that.
I was going to bring that up because there's a later part in the episode where everybody's kind of going through the guilt stage, and I think that is something that absolutely bringing it up right now because I think that's something I want to allude to a little bit later. But Tom gets through to Roman. I forget what Roman calls it. The fuck something brigade.
The fucky sucky brigade. Yeah.
The fucky sucky brigade. That's right. And breaks the news that Logan is sick. He's very sick.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. And now we have, for an episode that is already, I think, top 10, top 5 all-timers. I might even being too liberal, because if I really think about it, the more I dwell on this, it's cracking in the top 3 for me. Episodes of television of all time, this was not something that anyone could have seen coming.
No. This early in the season, this way, where the first thing we find out about it is a phone call with static on it to think, because one of the big great things they did is we're every bit as fucking stunned as Roman and Kendall are. When it breaks, we're like, what? Logan's sick? He's very sick? What's going on? Has he had another stroke? Is he just like, is he have like, another, UTI? We don't know if it's like one of those life or death or just, he needs to go to the hospital type deals. And then it slowly becomes clear and no one wants to say that he's dying or dead. But from the outsider perspective, it becomes pretty clear that the man has died.
No, they said it. They frame it wonderfully because you have the static and everything, and they stay there with the kids, and that's one thing that you kind of see that they try their best not to break from the kids, which goes to that scene that what I was talking about as far as what they did with the film canisters. Yeah, because you could tell they want us to stay there, even when they do the shot to Tom on the plane. He's standing in the doorway area. You can't really see much. All you see is the flight attendant kind of rush past him, so you're not even aware of what the fuck is going on. Like, I know when I first heard, I'm like, is this a joke? Is this something like ploy? That? Is this Logan playing a game? Right, and you're right there stuck with Kendall and Roman kind of going through. And what I loved about it is that not only in real life do those moments happen where you're just wondering, like, what you just want information to kind of gain control of the situation, right? Yeah. And it's always a mess at the beginning. But to be there with them in that moment within the TV show, they're asking all the questions I want to know too. Like, what happened? Like, what's going on? Like, I still have a ton of questions. Like, part of me think, was he having sex with Carrie in the bathroom? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't know. The way that we'll get to that as far as Carrie's reaction, but the way that everything is shot, it's like, what is going on? Like, what is happening with Logan? Like, and they never really show us him All that much until we get a little later when the phone gets dropped down. But you see the body on the floor and they're doing the chest compressions, but it's just an outright panic. Like, you don't know what to do. And with each second, it gets grimmer and grimmer, with Tom relaying the real-time information that he can kind of glean from the situation to the kids trying to process it, and then they're asking whatever questions based on that, and you just see the absolute utter confusion. With also, I don't know if you have you ever talked to somebody on their deathbed?
But I don't think so. Yeah.
It's awkward.
I mean, I talked to my
fuck.
grandma a few weeks before she died, but we didn't a week and a half or so before she died, but we didn't know for sure that she was dying. Yeah,
right. So there's like the conversations that you have when somebody's either completely incapacitated and the doctors, we're not sure if they can hear you or not. There's the spiritual angle of can they hear you or not. There's all these different things. They nail in that moment. It is awkward as shit. I don't know what to say. Like, what do you want me to say? Is he alive? Is he not? What's okay? You see, Roman goes and he rattles off all kinds of. You're a beast,
Roman
Dad.
just straight up lies about like, well, you're a great father and you did a great job. I'm like, nope, wrong.
Just
at least Kendall was honest.
Destroys. Then
I love you.
Each of the other kids have a moment of honesty.
Yeah.
Yep, I love you, but I can't forgive you.
Forgive you. Yeah, it's okay.
I can't forgive you. It's okay. I love you. And then me and you, a little moment within that scene that is absolutely incredible, and also speaks to if anyone has ever felt anxiety or been in a room where you feel anxiety and all the crowd noise and the muffled feelings and the smirk you have to have on your face so that nobody can understand that anything wrong is going on with you, but the walk down the stairs, we stay with Kendall the entire time as he's trying to find Shiv.
Brutal.
The confusion as he first walks in to look over, and the faces are almost blurred. He can't make out shit. Then he looks across and he sees her on the other side of the balcony, and he knows that he's going, and you see he's making eye contact with certain people and doesn't want to, and he has to smile, and he smirks, and he goes and he grabs Shiv, and Shiv has no idea what's happening, and she gets and they start that walk, and he's trying to sort of explain to just give Shiv enough to go with him, but Jesus Christ, was this scene a gut punch?
Yeah, that was rough when Kendall was just like, I mean, he was sacking up to the 10th degree, but it was not comfortable for him or us. And then, of course, the Shiv, like, is it Mom? No, it's Dad when she figures out something's really gone wrong. Yeah. Pretty quickly.
And then you have Shiv's conversation with her dad. And as you were saying, even with Kendall, is that, hey, Dad, hello, you're going to be okay. Daddy, I love you. Don't go. Please, not now. You fucking, there's no excuses. But I do love you. It's okay. I love you.
Yeah.
Just heart-wrenching shit.
Yeah.
For a guy that you can clearly see, like, I'm applauding the kids in one way that they could still be as honest as they were in that moment, but you can just tell they're running, well, except for Roman, but we all know. But also, Roman just has a different experience with him, even considering that the night before, unlike Kendall and Shiv, who have that brief interaction at the karaoke bar, and it is not good. They haven't seen Logan since Italy. Mm-hmm. Roman's been on the phone with him. Roman was just at the house the night before after karaoke. It hits a little different for him. These guys have kind of cauterized the relationship to some degree, so that they can kind of deal. And you can see that very clearly in the karaoke scene last week, right?
Yeah, for sure. They're done with their father. Yes, and Roman is not quite sure. Yeah,
right. So. We have all that happen, and it's just absolute hell. The finally the moment where they realize.
Well, let's just pause for a moment and remember that we feel so deeply. I felt so bad for these kids, for Kendall, Shiv, and Roman. At the same time, a terrible person has died, and his terrible children are grieving in their own confused way. It's not that we had what's his name? Gandhi died and his kids are grieving, right? We know what.
Gandhi a pedophile?
I don't think so. We had somebody who was subjectively awful, not just to the world, right, but to his kids. And his kids, even though their fact that their father was such an abusive, neglectful asshole may explain why they're like they are, doesn't excuse it, right? And so the show makes us feel so fucking awful, even though intellectually we know that Logan's a shitbag and the world's better off with him dead. His kids are almost certainly better off with him dead. And regardless of it, we shouldn't like his kids anyways because they're scumbags as well. So it's just so great. It's done that all throughout the show, make you feel so deeply for these characters, even though it's not just like they're flawed individuals. They're just awful. And
they're bad people.
It came into clarity here because in that moment, in that whole sequence, I was feeling so bad for the kids. And then after I finished the episode, I was like, yeah, but Logan was terrible. These kids are awful. And the kids are probably better off with Logan dead. So kudos to the showrunner for making me feel that when even intellectually I know how bad these people are and how corrosive of an influence Logan's had on everything, especially his kids.
And I think the thing for me is that while I would not disagree with you really as far as any of that, I will say that the feeling of knowing that you're dealing with bad people, to me, starts out really early in Succession. You look at episode 1, you have Logan being Logan. He fires Frank, and the home run baseball offer to the groundskeeper's kid.
Jesus Christ!
Roman delivers. As season 1 goes on, the one that you think, okay, maybe the only one out of the 3 that you think, okay, maybe this is the guy that I'm rooting for. He's a dummy, but his heart's in the right place is Kendall. Because even Shiv's doing her extramarital bullshit. You're not really rooting for, and the way that she treats Tom is just already out of
treating
whack.
like shit,
treating Tom like shit. It's just not. It's not okay. And then everything about Kendall comes and shatters the moment that he leaves the drowning kid in the car. And it's the moment that you see, all right, you're more than just a fuck up.
Yeah.
There's something there, like, you've never suffered any consequences for the stuff you do. What other skeletons do you potentially have in your closet?
You're a fuck up who's escaped because of his wealth and privilege. All the fucked up shit you've done. Yeah.
And every time you see him interacting with his kids, you're like, all right, this dude's not a good dad either. He's you see his ex, I forget her name, Riva, something like that. You see in her interaction, she's over his shit. Yeah. So you know shit has gone down, right? So, like, to me, it's that Tony Soprano anti-hero thing where as much as you see him do diabolical stuff every fucking episode, you also find yourself rooting for this guy and almost hating yourself for doing it. I think with Succession is that you're going with, we pick Team Greg, Team Tom, Team whatever, right? In the sense of it's just who is going to be at the seat of the table, not because they necessarily deserve it, but who's going to play this game to a certain degree well enough against all these other opponents to get to this particular point. But I think what makes this show special is that even with the machinations of all that, they still make you feel human. They make these people feel human. And when you see them in such a surreal way go through such a traumatic experience, I know for me, I was overwhelmed completely. Like I didn't have time to think about deserving, not deserving, as much as me trying to put myself in their shoes and knowing the amount of confusion that I would have, knowing the relationship that they had with their father. Like, I guess personally, I have really terrible relationships with certain people that if they were to die tomorrow, I'm probably not going to their funeral. And people that are close to me that I should be doing that stuff with. Yeah. And the idea that I would be handed a telephone and said, what do you say to this person that you know you dislike, but your blood and your family and you have shared memories? I don't know what I'd say. You want to be kind. You're feeling something because of somebody being removed from the planet.
Somebody part of your life. Yeah, they had an influence on you, good or bad. They were the part of your life. Yeah. And that part of your life, I mean, the influence remains, but they're gone. Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
So
I get it as much as somebody who's never been in that situation could possibly from the TV show. Yeah, but yeah, so just unbelievable work, but by making me feel exactly what those characters were feeling. So Jesus, it's so well done. And let's give Tom his props too. Not doing a good job, but trying to convey what's happening, what's going on, to the kids. Yeah.
Kudos to Michael. He says his last name really weird. It's McFadden.
Is it not McFadden?
I know it's pronounced very much weirder than that for some reason.
Okay,
it's something weird. I know I'm butchering it, but kudos to him. Also listening to a little behind the scenes after the episode. The cast does an amazing job of making sure that they're available for each other, even if they're not on screen. So the entire conversation, the phone call, the actor of Tom is actually in London at like 4 a.m. in the morning at these god awful hours, recording the dialogue and being there when Kendall and them are actually on the other side on the other side doing that.
So
just tremendous. You can tell how much. Okay.
Yeah. So they don't have to record. They don't have to act a one-sided conversation. They can act.
Right. They can do the two sides.
The two sides.
Yeah. Most TV shows or anything, the stars are like, "No, I'm off. Go get somebody to fill in the dialogue or something. Just find some
random guy just read the conversation." Yeah.
But you also see, and that's the other thing, is and just staying with this scene because it is the most pivotal scene. We'll kind of breeze through everything else. Just the behind the scenes stuff that I've heard about it, like Alan Ruck, who plays Connor, who we're about to get into right now, talking about how he didn't have to act. Because when you hear stories about how the cast is together they make themselves available for moments like that. The only one that steps outside the cast as far as that goes is Jeremy Strong, and that was pivotal for the Kendall character who was always by himself. Not this last season. He's there with the people because he's there and filming kind of in real time. But the idea of you can tell how close the cast is. Because Sarah Snook is actually pulling off of Brian Cox leaving the show. And she's reacting to that as well. As much as you also have other actors and all of them are feeling so much right there viscerally, you're just reacting to what everyone else is doing. You're just there in the moment. It feels so real because partially it's sort of meta. It is real to them. Yeah. There's a lot of this stuff that's actually kind of breathing true to them as far as what's going on. And there are a few times that I've seen death being handled so well in TV or movies. I think recently we have Wakanda Forever, which I thought, as much as it's far from a perfect film, the way that they dealt with Chadwick Boseman's death itself was amazing.
Yeah,
they didn't shy away from it.
They handled the aftermath almost exclusively, not the what was happening. They didn't do they didn't have like an extended death scene. It was about the grief afterwards. Where they were very much in their processing. So it's different because this was so much about the shock and confusion. There, they were completely in the processing phase, various stages of processing.
So you go more like TV shows. Like this is a show that I have not watched completely, and I kind of kick myself for not doing so. But The West Wing, when John Spencer dies,
that was incredible.
Where the way they handled
was so real because they lost, because they could mourn Leo like it was John Spencer, because the character died because John Spencer passed away. Yeah, right. And so the cast did an incredible job about that. Yes.
And they pull off that. And then probably the most famous might be Cheers, when Coach dies in Cheers, where you have these real life deaths and how it affects the cast. Like, I'd be as crazy to say that as much as we know Brian Cox is very much alive and well, and hopefully is doing a lot more interviews as time goes on.
Still feisty.
Feisty is all fucking get out. This did feel, you can sense how close this cast is. And how much it impacted them, because it did feel so visceral and so real. All right, so staying here with the aftermath of the call, we then realize poor Connor has not even been thought of yet until he shows up in view.
This was I was actually thinking of during that thing. I was like, is anyone when are they going to remember that they have another sibling? Are they going to ever remember Connor? It was only visual.
They literally do not think of him until you can hear his voice
through
an open door, because a waiter
Yeah.
A waiter's bringing something there to the room, and if it's not for that moment, they do not think about talking to Connor.
Their oldest
No
brother.
one's thought of Connor. No one on the... Tom has asked, can Shiv get on the phone?
Get on the phone.
He calls Roman. He makes sure Kendall gets in. No one on the... Hey, where's Connor?
No one.
Should we let Connor know? No one gave a fuck. And here's the thing, is like there was a part of me that thought at first maybe they don't want to disturb him because it's his wedding day and they're not trying
That's
to...
what I thought too. I was thinking maybe they're...
That's not what it is.
But no. They just but it made so clear they've just completely forgotten about Connor. Just like Logan did.
He doesn't give a fuck. So Connor, they in a moment where if you want to do like a drinking game or a weed smoking game, since we don't drink all that much, I know you don't drink at all. Unless you want to drink alcohol or beer shots or something.
Non-alcoholic
beer shots. If you want to go through the episode with
mocktail shots.
People, mocktail. There we do mocktail shots. The amount of awkwardness between people that don't know how to hug or be affectionate.
Good. That's been a theme throughout all Succession, is that they don't know the awkward.
They nailed it
like a
motherfucker.
They nailed it
in this scene.
In last season, when Kendall's having his confession and breakdown, and they're just patting him like he's a fucking dog. Yeah, they just don't know how to do physical affection. And this episode, when Roman hugs Connor's arm, I was like,
it's a one arm, other arm is sort of forgotten, but he brings it at the end. Kind of move. It's not even like there's not, and then he just kind of backs away.
Yeah.
It's so rough. But one of the genuine moments, and before we get to the Connor, Roman trying to hug Connor, is Shiv and Kendall's arm embrace.
Yes.
As they walk, and they make sure to zoom in on that.
Yeah, when they hold hands for
hold
support
hands
as they go to tell Connor. Yeah. It
was a very, very sweet moment, and it was a sweet moment between the siblings because. Kendall, they say, all right, they're trying to choose who's going to go see Connor. And then Roman's like, hey, can you do that? No, I mean, I can do that. I just, don't let me say it. Just don't make me say I can't do it or I'm not feeling to do it. And they get up and they know, all right, Roman, we got you. It's okay.
Yeah, because Roman's the one who's in denial. A little bit.
But Roman, he says the denial part comes in a little later. The full blown denial about what's going on. You really start seeing it when Hugo gets there in the scene next. But with Connor coming in, the first things that Connor's saying is Jesus. He never even
liked me. I never got the chance.
He never even liked me. Then he regroups. No, I don't know what I'm saying. I don't know what I mean. But I never got the chance to make him proud of me.
Make him proud, yeah.
And then I can't do this, and they follow him upstairs to the private room, where Connor kind of lets his emotions out, and everyone's just sort of letting everything loose. And this is when you get Roman's pure biggest denial stage, where Shiv and them are kind of saying, well, Roman, come on, guy, like really, and. What the fuck is this? Are you guys gonna outvote me? Like he's just he blows up.
Whether dad's
and
dead
you see the siblings have a moment. Yeah, you see the siblings have a moment where they know we need to back off.
Yeah, just let Roman do his. He can't live in denial for very long because the plane's landing. Where Shiv's gone full on bargaining. Can we keep the fucking plane circling around up there a little while? I'm like, what?
Which is rough. And so. Yeah, and that all sort of happens within two scenes. So there's like the them trying to figure out what's happening as far as machinations of that. Because after we have Roman's denial inside the scene, they go back to the plane where Carl realizes I need a drink. After he goes and he grabs his drink, what time? I guess we're off the clock, guys. And Carolina, who I love Carolina in every episode that she's in. She starts drafting up the contact list, and let's get the timeline ready, and let's do this, and let's do that. And then we have what is a shocking yet on rewatch, the funniest goddamn moment of the episode is Carrie. Chuckles the fucking clown.
That is the Chuckles the clown. I swear, when that scene happened, even at the time, I was laughing hysterically when she comes in shock, and it's her face. The actress who plays what's her name again? I always forget. Carrie. She fucking nails that with just can't control her face, the crazy grin up and down.
You start realizing you know what it looks similar to? Her news anchor reel.
News. That's what I was thinking too. I was like, holy shit, she's doing her news faces.
It looks very, very similar. This is a woman that just doesn't know how to. But Tom's face, the contort. What the fuck?
Tom had another great line too. It's like,
judging by her grin, she caught a foul ball at Yankee
Stadium. I was like, the people are just like, and even his colleagues are like, what the fuck? Yeah.
But I think that point in the episode is where things kind of change. So we are now, it is now gone from the initial shock to, this is what, I mean, Logan would not have wanted it any other way. We are now thinking about the business.
Yeah.
It is what is going on as far as the business. You can see that there are certain chips and certain moves started being made when they do the initial statement phone call. While Carrie's in shock, you can also see that she wants to be a part of whatever it is they're doing because she knows she does.
Yeah.
Right. Everyone's starting to jockey for position on where it is that they need to be on what side of the statement, because that's the conversation that's coming next. So, and even before the conversation, we have Tom steps aside, goes into the bedroom, and calls Greg. And you see Tom is in full blown.
No, it's a callback. It's a callback to season 1. Greg is burning documents and deleting files.
Burning document. Delete the file that says logistics, then go on the trash bin and delete that. And get close to Sid. People need to know that I was there. I was here with him. People need to know. But do not let anyone know what happened, because the stock price will tank. And we all know, Greg, you fuck up. You're the one that blatted to the reporter that you were flirting with, the black reporter, and she's absolutely the one that leaked the information. Greg is. Don't tell Greg things, people.
Greg, it's like the iceberg. Greg is the iceberg. He causes leaks like it's his fucking jaw.
Just cannot help himself. Just constantly doing it.
So bad.
Hugo arrives, and we know. All right, we are now in the full blown. What is going on? And this is you have Kendall making sure that he's hey, don't use the word estranged. We weren't estranged. We had a family outing last night.
A family function. The karaoke fight got upgraded to family function. I love that. Yep.
Everybody needs to know where it is they're going to be. And Kendall, with an amazing line to know exactly where his thought process is every single thing we say and do today is going in the memoirs. What we do today will always be what we did the day our father died. So let's grieve or whatever, but let's not do anything that restricts future freedom of movement.
Yep. Yep.
Come on.
He's right.
As a matter of fact,
right.
Kendall,
he's 100% right. Yeah.
Without a doubt. Like, while I don't think that, I would 100%, and I actually did not watch the previews this episode, for the next season, for the next episode or episodes that are coming. But I can imagine that while Kendall in this moment I'm almost proud of, and I actually think Logan would have been proud of, that he's thinking with a straight head as far as this is that killer instinct.
Right.
The idea of Kendall missing something at the board to go for his father's birthday that disappoints him. What the fuck are you doing? This is one of those moments where, like, while I doubt that it'll last, because Kendall's Kendall, I'm proud of him in that moment, kind of being the one that said, "Hey,
yeah," because that
guys,
was
keep your heads on
right. Because that was after Shiv suggested maybe keeping the plane circling around.
Keeping the flight circling around,
and,
right?
And they're all thinking like, that's pretty illegal to try to delay the news. And
Jerry letting him explain you can't do that.
Yeah, it's a personal tragedy, but a business.
Kendall could have reamed Shiv for that.
Yeah.
And he takes a high road even with saying that to tell everybody this is the deal without singling her out. Because they do the camera shot to her in the back. They take Kendall out of focus. They put Shiv in focus. Shiv knows that he's talking about her.
Yeah.
But Shiv also knows, all right, I don't need to press.
Yeah.
It's fine. Everybody's fucking up right now, right?
Yeah.
And that's even, as a matter of fact, to back up a little bit, because that was something you had talked about a little bit, was the denial piece, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, that comes up around this area too, where the siblings are kind of recapping what's happened. They've gone outside, had the conversation about what it is that they want to do to keep their options open. They want to make sure that they're the ones that do the statement. And then we see them
because
kind
they don't
of
want to be
recap
cut
what's
out.
happened today. They don't want to be cut out. It's Roman. Kendall says it, like, we could tomorrow turn in the crown, cash out, and be done. That might be what we should do.
Yeah.
But we don't need to make any of those decisions right
now. Yeah.
Yeah. But you see in the conversation where everybody's recapping, you have Shiv and her guilt comes to the forefront. She admits that she really did hope it was their mom. Yeah. Everyone that's seen her like, there's a theory to me that the mom is more of a villain than Logan.
Dude, the mom with Shiv, like, awful, just horrific, like
terrible,
such a bad person, like.
But she stabbed them all in the back at the end of last season. That's the one that did it. Like
even
Logan
their conversations, even their conversations with. So you know what the mom reminded me? You don't watch Arrested Development, so you can't get it.
No.
It's Lindsay and Lucille Bluth, except a serious version of that, where the mom constantly has to undercut her one daughter to make sure she feels like she's like the superior woman in the family. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't get your point of reference. So, yeah, but everything is happening where you could see everyone's kind of acting adult about everything that's happening. You see, at one point, because they're on the call with the guys that are on the plane, and Tom speaks to something about the choreography, and Shiv immediately, the choreography dance with my dead dad, Tom. And when she hears the silence fall in the room, sorry.
Yeah.
And Tom said, it's okay. I get it. It's fine.
It's a difficult
Kendall
day,
with secretly one of my favorite lines of the episode. We could just get a funeral off the rack. You know, Reagan with tweaks.
Reagan with tweaks, yeah. Another one of my favorite is, I'm going to get the best airplane medicine expert in the world.
Oh yeah, earlier. Yeah,
earlier.
What Jess? Hey, I need my dad's doctor. That lazy fucking piece of shit. Oh yeah, Kendall just go. Oh, and there's also a sweet moment in that. I mean, that's the thing is, like, throughout the episode, there are these moments that you see of this tenderness with people that are so not used to showing it, right? Like, we know that Frank has a real relationship with Kendall. I think. It wasn't that he was like the godfather, or Kendall might be his godson.
Godson or something like that, yeah.
Because even when Kendall calls Frank on the phone to go speak to the pilots, he wants to speak to the pilots. Because he's going to make something happen by speaking to the pilots. And Frank says, no, son.
Yeah.
The pilots can't talk right now. They're flying the plane.
Yeah.
And the moment of frustration for Frank when he hits the side of the plane, the wall there near the cabin, and he's trying to be there for him. There's these like little moments that happen where you can kind of tell, like, they're humans trying to be human. They're not used to it, but they're trying, and they have relationships. Yeah. They're terrible at it. But there are these little moments that kind of shine through. I think that's what makes Succession so real. It's so awesome, is those little moments that peek through to let you know that as much as people are planning and there's all the backstabbing and things that are happening within the show, they are on some level. This is a family show. This is a show about a family.
Your family. Yeah, even somebody like Frank, like from the first episode, I thought Frank was like going to be the conscience of the group. The first two episodes, because remember when Kendall calls him back when Logan's in the hospital in the second episode, and Frank's like, he's like, the day may have not even happened, right? We don't know when he started losing his mind. And Frank was like, no, he fired me. I can't come back and be a part of this plan. He fired me. And I was like, man, well, he's going to be, maybe he's a stand-up guy. Maybe he's got... No, it turns out he's just clinging on to power as desperately as anybody else.
Anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, and then at some points, kind of held hostage. Like he can't go.
Yeah.
Logan won't let him. Like,
Logan won't let him.
This is what it is. No, all those moments that kind of happen all in the episode. But then, so while you have everything kind of settling down with that and what's happening with on the plane and with the siblings, everybody knows they're going to make the statement. The plane is going to land. They're getting off the boat. There is a scene which I would put up there as one of the best scenes of this episode, which is Connor and Willa talking about whether or not they'll cancel the wedding.
Such a
and
great
Willa
scene,
says it's already canceled. It's already canceled, Connor. And Connor having probably some of the most truthful moments with Willa he's ever had in the series.
Yes.
Asking her point blank, "Are you only with me for the money?" And her response, brutally honest.
Brutally honest.
Or at least it felt brutally honest. Yeah, there's something about the money and the safety. It's great, but I'm having fun, and I'm not leaving you. At least,
and
not
I'm
today.
happy. I'm happy. Yeah.
And I'm happy. I'm happy. Right. I'm happy.
It was just a small moment,
and
but I like the fact. I like the fact that it appears that Connor and Willa's mom really get along.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
But they do actually get married by themselves on the boat.
The
all
tiny
the guests and
ceremony,
everything are gone.
which is the most
Very
genuine
tiny
ceremony that's ever been depicted on Succession.
Because you had, for the first time, maybe ever, one of the Logan kids has made a decision on their own without any influence from their dad. That was Connor's decision to make. He didn't need to do it to prove anything to his dad or do it. He did it for him. And that was one of those, because even when the kids try to do things on their own, we've seen clearly Roman's the only one that probably has the mind to do something outside on his own. Yeah. But even with that, he hasn't done anything because he's been the whipping boy for everybody else around him.
Yeah.
Whose only motivations is the internal battle between Logan and whoever is on the opposite end.
Yeah.
Of that spectrum at any given point in time. So that was dope. We also get, before they leave the boat, we get the Roman and Jerry, one of the most awkward. My skin crawl, but I understood.
Skin crawl, where Roman's like desperate for comfort, and Jerry's just nope.
He comes in the room being a dick. Hey, I need the room. Jerry's putting herself. I'm sad. I'm really sad. I feel kind of numb and I'm lost. Okay, Roman.
Okay.
Just walks. I've never seen anyone get shut down that hard. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Jerry, give no fucks, baby.
Jerry's just like, nope.
It was the hottest I've ever seen Jerry in the show. She looked great. She looked amazing, and she had a little attitude. I got kind of turned on a little bit, Jerry.
That's so weird.
But that was it. And the plane lands. I did love Hugo making the beeline for the plane. You had the Roy children going straight to the hangar. There's a little moment that happens between Hugo and Frank and them where they say, hey, did you get the edits on the statement? We need to make sure our names are on there too. Hugo doesn't even really acknowledge it. He just kind of goes on the next thing. Just something to watch for the future on whose side everybody's going to be on when it comes to what. And then you get the mini back and forth between Kendall and Roman. You're fucked. No, you're fucked. You're really fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
You're already fucked. Great back and forth. And you have the statement. And I'm going to read the statement in full because I think that it is worth doing. That Shiv reads to the reporters. As you know, my father, Logan Roy, was pronounced dead on arrival at Teterboro Airport this afternoon. I'd like to thank the press for their respect at this time. You'll understand that I won't be taking any questions, but my brothers and I just want to say that Logan Roy built a great American family company. And as you know, the board will be convening in the next hours to decide on the leadership of the company going forward. This nation has lost a passionate champion and an American titan, and we lost a beloved father. Thank you. Great job, Shiv.
Great job, Shiv.
I thought that was absolutely incredible. Now, that statement, was that the statement that we have as far as what the Hugo, Carl, and them, or not Hugo, but Carl, Frank, Tom, and Jerry probably wanted to have happen. Was that statement?
No.
It wasn't, right? It was just this is just the sibling speaking from a sibling standpoint. It's not what
It mentioned too little about the company. It had nothing about the company in there. Let's put it like this: it's not.
Just want to make sure we were on the same page with that.
Yeah, it can't be because so when you put out a statement from a company, you want to seem sad, contrite, right? But really what it's supposed to do is stabilize the market. So it says, we've got a plan, we're following the plan, no need to panic. Please don't sell all your shares in the company, right? It had none of that. Right. It's like the board's figuring it out. Remember in season 1, they had a succession plan? They were like, we just got to release to the press that we have a succession plan. Kendall, you're taking over as CEO. Frank, you're taking over as chairman of the board. Now, Logan had fucked that plan, right? That day before his death. But they had a plan that they this had none of this. This had it was literally, we're gonna figure it out, which is not what investors want to hear when the CEO dies.
And I think the only thing to it is the reporter's question at the end of Shiv, and Shiv responds, "We'll be there to shepherd the company through
whatever its
board
future.
Meeting, through whatever the future is. We'll be there." On the walk away, it was. I want to make sure we were in agreement on that, because I saw some people online, I think, conflating it, that this was the statement, and oh my God, she didn't say this, that, and the other. And I thought that's not the same statement, but okay.
No.
So to make sure,
remember, a different statement was released to the press. Before that, and this was their press conference, right? This is right, but it makes sense. It's totally acceptable to do both, right? This is like the family being sad about it, and also the family, and from a business perspective, saying we're not going anywhere, right? We have board seats, yada yada yada. Right. The previous one was just the statement from the company saying, "Please don't sell your stock. Please don't sell your stock," right? Which clearly didn't work, as Roman says. That's Dad, right there.
That's Dad. That to me encapsulated the entirety of. I don't think there's been a better succession moment in the history of the show than that one right there.
Than that one,
when he pointed, that's Dad. That to me was just perfect. So insanely perfect, man. It was just a wonderful moment. Jesse, why do I keep fucking forgetting my man's name? The creator of the goddamn show, Jesse Armstrong. I keep wanting to say Davenport for some fucking reason. Jesse Armstrong. That is great shit, man. That's fucking great. This would set you apart from anything else that's on TV. It's so far and away the best show. I mean, I still got a little thing for Andor, but that's just me, and it's a totally different thing. What Succession's doing is just...
It's unbelievable.
God
it's
damn.
So good.
And
that's Dad. I was just like, oh, man, it's so perfect. It's so perfect, that little instant. And then, Rome... I gotta, I've always loved Rome, and I don't like the fact that he keeps like a kick dog, keep running back to Logan. But I gotta say, he's the only one who had the courage and the emotional maturity to actually say, "I'm gonna go see Dad," and take that long walk over to the airplane to see his dad.
I actually interpret that a little different than you.
What?
So now I will say that. There was a lack of honesty from one of the siblings. There was an understanding of who... I'll take it this way. So the last thing I have in my notes as far as the scenes go is the siblings split up.
Yeah.
And you see all three take very, very different steps in what is going to happen. First off, you have Shiv, who asks Tom, "Hey, can you give me a play-by-play?" We know she doesn't care about the play-by-play. She just doesn't want to be alone, and she wants Tom. One of the also awkward hugs that happened is right beforehand, where Tom tries to embrace her. You can see she's stiff at the beginning, and then she sort of lets go into his chest for a little bit, and then walks away. She just doesn't want to be alone. So you can see that she lies to just try to get Tom there with him. So that's, everybody kind of know, Shiv's going to do her own thing. Roman looks to Kendall for guidance almost, in the sense of, what do you want to go see Dad?
See Dad, yeah.
Kendall, to me, I didn't read it as Roman had the emotional maturity to do so. I think Roman just didn't believe it until he could see it himself.
I think
Roman
I think he accepted at that point.
I don't think Roman quite accepted it or quite accepts anything, especially when it comes to his dad, unless he sees the finality of it. And when also dealing with another thing that we talked about as far as like the denials and the guilt and all that like you saw Shiv was very open with her guilt, but the other thing that we failed to mention was Roman's voicemail that it leaves Logan that he's not sure if Logan's even read it or heard it or not. Are you like that is still that's rattling around in Roman's head the entire episode.
Yeah.
Is that the last thing Dad heard from me?
Me, yeah.
Is that. And if it's the last thing, I don't know if he'll ever be able to forgive himself for that. Or if that. So I really do think that Roman going on the plane was much more about these eyes need to tell me I see something because I don't quite still believe it. That to me, it follows that character through if that's the case that happens.
But it also follows
I can understand your
that
viewpoint.
he has the highest emotional intelligence of the three of them and knows that he needs this closure.
Here's the thing about emotional intelligence. You go to a therapist, right? Like I know I've gone to a therapist for years. There's a difference between having emotional intelligence and acting on emotional intelligence. So you can understand and be self-aware enough to know what's happening and what's working with you. It's what you then do with the information that you have at hand. So Roman has shown us throughout this series that while he is capable of breaking down exactly what's happening and what he's feeling, his actions have him running like a scared, beat puppy dog.
His actions are
away and into anyone that is as self-aware as Roman is knows that he's not doing the right things 9 times out of 10 when he doesn't. Like, he can speak to in that room in the karaoke what it is he's feeling behind it. And what does he do? He goes running right back to Dad instead of just letting it sit, right? Yep. So, to me, as much as he might have emotional intelligence, it is the little kid in Roman that I don't believe Dad's dead until I see Dad dead. He might be faking it. He might be doing this. He might be doing that. Because you see him walk off the plane staring the entire time. He's still trying to come to terms with what it is he's saying.
Of course, yeah.
And he holds on it. And I think Kendall accepts it. Shiv accepts it.
Yes.
While I do think that there is of course they want to run away from the situation. I think that's where you see
Kendall doesn't actually run away. He
doesn't run away. Right.
He just stands there.
So listen, Shiv runs away. Kendall, I think, to me, showed the most emotional intelligence and progress this episode that I've ever seen from him. Now, once again, I don't think it sticks. Because I don't trust Kendall to have it stick. I think that there's just as good a likelihood that he's high next episode.
Yes.
On something that you have anything else. Because this is the thing that rocks his world more than any. But the idea that you can have Kendall sit there in his feelings and process what's happening, I give him credit for being able to kind of see them through, understanding this is where everybody's head needs to be, to kind of think like think like Logan would have thought to a certain degree, in the sense of what's happening with the company or what it is that we need to do as far as what movements we need to make. I just thought I really thought that there was just it was interesting as far as just the dynamic of all the 3 kids, and I really do think Roman is still what solidified for me over the last few weeks is as much as Roman is emotionally intelligent, he is still of the 3 kids the least I wanted in charge of Waystar. Yeah,
I mean he's just too much too attached.
His
to his
actions suck.
Yeah,
and his actions suck. All right, we talked about line of the episode.
Yeah, so this is a tough one because the whole episode was serious and the lines were great, but my favorite was the Greg Litz line from the beginning of the episode when Tom's going off without Greg to see the Swede.
Seeing the Swede. He's off picking lingonberries with Matt.
No,
and as an IKEA goer and a firm believer in the Swedish meatballs, you always have to get the lingonberry jam. Swedish delicacy, got to do it.
Yeah, but the Greg Litz line was the 3 to 4 little Gregs with him, 3 to 4 little Greg Litz. Yeah,
that's a great line.
He got him out of the pen. Yeah,
I'm giving it to Tom as well, but it's a different one. It's the what the fuck. and judging by her grin, she caught a foul ball at Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. Yeah, that's a great one,
My second place would have been Carrie's actual line. That was nuts. That was fucking crazy.
That was fucking crazy, yeah.
I love
my second
line,
place.
so.
My second place after the Tom lines would have been Kendall's "Get me the best airplane medicine expert in the world." Yeah,
that works. That definitely works.
Like, come on, bro. Yeah. So that was my line. I like yours too. That would be my second choice. I just love the Greglets because you know why? It reminds me of the one of the all-time lines, which is, "You can't make a Tomlet without breaking a few Gregs."
Gotta love it. All right, episode MVP and LVP. Who's your MVP this week?
MVP's Connor. Connor showed, got married.
100%.
Didn't allow his dad to derail it. Seemed to come to terms with the fact that his father's gone and never really liked him faster than the other kids did, and decided, you know what? I'm not going to let him ruin this day. I'm still going to get married. Showed great emotional intelligence. He's an idiot still because of his presidential campaign. But I wouldn't say their bond is love, but they have more than just money between them. And that they seem to make each other reasonably happy, which is highly unusual in this television show. Like, love is too high a bar for a relationship in this show. Way too high a bar. But the making each other happy, that's a bar that, is like
wonderful.
The stratosphere, for these people.
It's the stratosphere of attainability, yes.
Attainability, yeah. So we're going to take that huge win. And the LVP, it's
no, don't get an LVP yet. I'm going to give you LVP.
Go MVP.
MVP, I agree with you 100%, Connor. I think what seals the deal is him actually getting married, but him finding actual comfort in his relationship with Willa is huge. Him being at least sort of honest with himself, at least immediately when it came to what it is that he stood when it came to his dad, is huge. I would say a dark horse candidate for MVP, I will also admit, is Jerry, who goes from being getting the guillotine to now she's probably the one that might make the most sense as far as from a transitioning standpoint.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, because it'll probably be Tom versus Jerry, I would think. Oh, that works. Tom versus Jerry. It works in the sense of who on that side of things go. All right, so who's your LVP?
It's Tom. Tom made a bet that looked like it was going to work out real well last season, and now just because one fucking 80-something-year-old keeled over on in an airplane bathroom, I mean, he's just fucked. Where does he go from there? He's fucked. His rival his current rival Sid hadn't even gotten fired, right? He doesn't have a board seat like Frank or what's the other guy who has a board seat on the plane's name? Carl. Yeah, he doesn't have a board seat, right? He's just the head of ATN. He's not even upper level of management at Waystar Weekly, right? So he doesn't have a huge amount of say in the merger. Like, his power came from his closeness to Tom outside of ATN. His power came from his closeness to Logan. And he doesn't have that any longer. He's pissed off his relationship to Shiv, which he doesn't have. Yeah.
Well, maybe the end of the episode, we'll see how that goes.
He got fucked. He just got fucked. Yeah.
Tom has to be the guy who gets MVP. The only other honorary mention will be Logan because he's dead.
Dead, yeah.
You can't really win if you die.
You can't really win if you die, yeah.
So that would be it. Also, I'm going to let you keep. As far as Tom, I'm going to truly pick Logan. And here's why I'm going to pick Logan. If he had just come to Connor's fucking wedding, he's probably alive.
You think he
does? This piece of shit.
You think he
lives? I still think there's more. I think traveling at the rate that he travels, I think that being around his family even for a moment before dying is a much bigger win, and shows what kind of piece of shit Logan was at the end of it, where it's him and his terrible news anchor fuck toy personal assistant dies in a plane around nobody. The closest one to anyone that actually loves him is Frank, and we've seen how that relationship has fucking been. Nobody else on the plane can ever say that they love him.
No.
You have someone who he died there. He either died fucking Carrie in that bathroom, or he died taking a shit or trying to take a shit.
I think he died taking a shit. I think he's just an old guy keeled over in the bathroom.
So fucking Tywin Lannister / Elvis Presley.
Except not being shot with a crossbow on the shit. Or
but you die on a toilet. I'm talking about dying on a toilet.
But like Elvis died on a toilet of natural causes.
That's just what I said. Yeah. The Tywin Lannister, Elvis Presley. It's not. It's just dying on a toilet. That's the. Yep. However you die, you're dying on the toilet's the undignified way of dying. It's not that you were shitting or not shitting. You died on a toilet. All right. So Tywin was shitting. Actually, take that back. But he didn't die of the shitting.
He just got shot.
He didn't have a heart attack. Right.
Yep.
So there's whatever happens with that, but you could have been around your family. You could have been around them again. Like, even to really say goodbye in some sort of capacity, and he wasn't. And that's a fucking fail. Yeah. Right. That's a fucking fail. So even if he even if he would have died on the boat, at least he died around his fucking family. So that's family, that just it speaks to what a piece of shit Logan is. That to me it makes you a loser. Okay? It makes you a loser. He's an
asshole to the end. He's an asshole to the end. Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is.
And with me changing my vote to Logan, just because I know you're right as far as Tom, I'm going to pick a second place, which is Colin. His best friend, best bud, seeing him standing. Dog. You've got nothing now. You've gone from being the dude that could scare Kendall or any of the kids or anything in the room has gone to you have fucking nothing.
I am so interested to see what's in the will when that comes along, because we know the kids, their money's in a trust, right? Most of their money, right? But Logan has all of this money, all of his portion. What the fuck happens to that trust? He's divorced from what's her name, Marcy, right? So
Marsha, yeah,
Marsha. So what the fuck happens to his lion's share of the Waystar Royco fortune and plus whatever assets he has? I mean, we know he has a will, right? Because he's an old rich guy. So what the fuck happens to his portion? Because the kids have been operating this entire time as if their portion of the trust, which they said in episode 1 after the sale would be worth between $2 and $3 billion, right? Each. So we know they have that, but we know Logan has many more billions himself. How does that get divvied up?
So while I have not, I've heard tell, the reason I did not watch the preview is that I heard that it wasn't a preview for next episode as much as it's a preview for the rest of the season. Because everyone was aware that it looked like all the previews heading into the season felt very short. It didn't feel like we were getting a full picture of anything that was really happening. And everything from the trailers has happened already pretty much from the original, the ones before the season started. So I've heard that it is a really, really detailed trailer for the rest of the season. I didn't want to do it before we record this podcast, but it's the first thing I'm going to do after this one. Because now the show, like, we all knew Logan originally was supposed to die in the first season of Succession. The first, in some cases, the first episode. In some cases, the end of the first season. But he was supposed to be done, and the series was supposed to be what happens in the aftermath of this guy dying. Brian Cox brought so much to the character that they kept Jesse Armstrong, kept him around, and now we have the show is into full swing of what it was always meant to be, which makes me know that it's in very safe hands. It's going to be extremely interesting to see how everything gets back. I know Alexander Skarsgård is going to have to be. We're going to get our mats and shit coming soon. This to me is setting up absolutely perfectly. If you have any predictions right now, because there's another thing that Brian Cox also said just briefly on the podcast, which makes sense now. This entire season is every episode is one day.
Okay,
he let that slip. It makes sense up until this point. We've traveled with them a day each, but it looks like the rest of the season is all day by day by day. So we are going to get a firm picture of who's where in the direct aftermath of Logan dying. Who right now do you have being the head of the seat?
I think still Madsen's gonna. Let's put it like this: I have no idea what's gonna happen to ATN, like this carve out, right? What's gonna happen with that carve out? No clue. If the kids are gonna try to keep it, scuttle their peer deal, who knows? But I still think Madsen finalizes the deal and finalizes the deal and gets control over the vast majority of Waystar Royco.
I think it'll probably shape up that way because I don't think the kids are going to be in position to actually do anything in the correct way without them because, as Logan said, they are not serious people.
No.
And I doubt it's going to work out in their benefit. I will say, my dark ringer, especially after this episode, is I think Jerry's going to have a lot more to do with things going forward.
Maybe.
Looked like she was trending towards,
And Matt.
Anything else?
So, no, just okay. So I did watch the preview because I was processing the episode and it just kept playing.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing Madsen says is it's clearly a negotiation where Kendall's still trying to get more money for Waystar Royco. And he's like, you don't understand. You're buying a trusted brand. Madsen goes, it's a part shop. The brand is awful. The parts are really good.
All right,
and I'm like, that's how pretty much I think of Waystar Royco too, right? We haven't seen it, but we know like the dog, and they've got so much great like entertainment content and whatnot. But the brand is awful. Congressional investigations, fines by the SEC, just like everything. Yep.
Yeah, it all makes sense. And I know that we've, this is great. And I got recommended last week to pick up, there's a book. Well, we know Rupert Murdoch is also an inspiration for the show, but apparently the number one inspiration for this show is Sumner Redstone, who was the founder of Paramount and Viacom.
Okay, really?
And if you like, he died a couple years ago during COVID, if I'm not mistaken, because there was a lot of things that were weird as far as his death. Like, I still don't think they've released a cause of death. He was in his 90s, but I have heard that there was something in the sense of like the way that his daughter is now the one in charge, and she also had to say goodbye via phone being held up to his ear. And apparently there's a story about what happened at the actual funeral that they thought she was almost going to fall into the grave. Sumner Redstone is apparently the chief inspiration for what we're seeing with the Leroys. Yeah, more than Rupert Murdoch.
More than Rupert Murdoch, yeah.
More than Rupert Murdoch. And apparently there's a good book that came out not too long ago about the Redstones and what's going on with them. So I'll make sure. I will have the name of the book by next episode, and we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good.
All right, guys. This has been another episode of the Waystar Daily or Weekly. Sorry, Waystar Weekly. For maybe by next week will be the Gojo Weekly.
We'll take a look
Weekly? And see what was. We'll see what was bought out of that part shop. Apparently, that I need to go watch that trailer for.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a regular episode of Extraordinary Nobodies in a day or two that you're seeing this. So, until next time, guys. Bye bye.
Bye bye.